Good, happy Tuesday morning, January 7, 2020. I'm Riley King, and welcome to the Riley King Newscast, right here on the Riley King Network. We have a lot of news to get to this Tuesday morning, so let's begin. First up, Laconia police end standoff with suspect who allegedly pistol-whipped victim. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9, Mike Cronin.
Trying hard to get a better signal? Enjoy clear cell phone talking with signalboosters.com.
Well, police say the suspect refused to come outside, so they eventually breached the door and they arrested him without anyone getting hurt. That is the sound of tear gas being fired inside of an apartment on Dixon Street. Then the SWAT team moved in using a robot first to guide the way. Just up the road at Church and Main Streets is where police say the suspect, 32-year-old Nicholas Pereira, pistol-whipped a man while hiding his face with a ski mask. That victim suffered non-life-threatening injuries to his face and hand. Police are trying to figure out if the two know each other, but they believe that they're acquaintances. Later, officers spotted Pereira, and he allegedly hid inside of the apartment, leading to an hours-long standoff.
It was reported by the victim that the suspect had pointed the firearm at him directly, attempted to fire the round. There was a malfunction with the handgun, at which point he began beating him and pistol whipping him.
Pereira is now charged with first-degree assault, felon in possession of a firearm, as well as parole violation and resisting arrest. Reporting live in Laconia, Mike Cronin, WMUR News 9.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Red Sox attendant accused of sexual assault at youth prison. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9.
Trying hard to get a better signal? Enjoy clear cell phone talking with signalboosters.com.
Hi, thank you. A new information tonight on one of the men charged with repeatedly raping a teenage boy at New Hampshire's Youth Detention Center in the 1990s. We are now learning that when those allegations came to light last year, Stephen Murphy was serving as a clubhouse attendant for the Boston Red Sox. The team says when it learned about the charges, Murphy was suspended without pay. Murphy is charged with 26 counts of aggravated felonious assault.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Monks sue St. Anselm College over changes to bylaws. Hearing held to determine whether law firm can represent monks. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9, Amy Cavino.
So Chevy Silverado offers an optional technology package with up to 15 different views, including one enhanced view that makes you...
Despite a power struggle behind closed doors at St. Anselm College, it's now going public. The Benedictine monks are suing the Board of Trustees over bylaw amendments. The monks allege the trustees have no authority to amend governing bylaws and are asking the court to settle the dispute. But today's hearing was for a Board of Trustees motion asking the court to disqualify the law firm representing the monks because of a conflict of interest.
This is
a family dispute, and like many Thanksgivings with my brothers, I hope that by next Thanksgiving we'll be back together.
The judge is taking the motions under advisement. No word on when a ruling might be handed down.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Student and staff safety discussed at Concord High School in the Concord School Board meeting Monday night. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9, Sharice LeClaire.
Life's a journey. Along the way, earn toward a new GM vehicle with the Buy Power card from Capital One, because the most rewarding things in life are earned.
Some new faces on the Concord School Board this year, but discussion continues on the same issue, keeping students safe after a tumultuous end of last year over the handling of former teacher Howie Leung, who has pled not guilty to sexual assault charges. Interim Superintendent Dr. Frank Bass says they surveyed the high school about their biggest concerns.
Most of the responses centered around issues of communication. So communication, coordination, protocols, the visibility, the ability to follow through in a timely manner are all issues that we're trying to articulate, building to building and throughout the district.
Now he says they're looking to rebuild trust with students, staff, and the community. One of the ways by hiring a full-time safety compliance officer to assist in all district schools.
It's training, it's making sure that faculty and administration know the protocols, know the procedures, know the law, and what we can do, what we can't do. It's having that extra line of communication, making sure that folks are aware of what's in place and what we need to do at any given point in time.
And it wasn't just student safety discussed.
Dear members of the Concord School Board,
more than 300 teachers signing a letter brought forward by the Concord Education Association.
We are writing to inform you of our serious concerns about the extremely unsafe learning and working conditions that have become the norm in our schools.
They say students and teachers are verbally and physically assaulted, property is damaged and destroyed, and it's taking away from learning. They're proposing more staff, training for behavior management, and a resource officer at every school. The interim superintendent saying tonight he plans on meeting with principals this week to discuss those safety concerns inside the schools. In Concord tonight, I'm Sharice LeClaire, WMUR News 9.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Man traveled to Nashua to have sex with person he thought was 15-year-old boy, police say. Police say man was communicating online with undercover detective. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9, Andy Hirschberger.
Trying hard to get a better signal? Enjoy clear cell phone talking with signalbooster.com.
46-year-old Robert Gagney faces 2 felony-level charges, one for attempted felonious sexual assault and another of certain uses of computer services prohibited. Nashua police say over the course of several months, Gagney had sexually explicit online communications with a detective that he thought was a 15-year-old boy.
As the conversation progressed, despite the fact that the detective was purporting to be a 15-year-old juvenile, the conversations turned very sexual in nature, very graphic in nature from what the individual wanted to do to the undercover detective.
Police say a meeting was arranged in downtown Nashua. According to prosecutors, the undercover detective had asked Gagney to bring a certain type of candy bar to the meeting. They say that candy bar was in Gagney's possession when police pulled him over.
He admitted to the detectives he came to Nashua this afternoon to meet a 15-year-old male.
He had met online. He said he got lost and had car trouble, so decided to leave.
Gagne is currently on probation after pleading guilty to reckless conduct for shooting a gun into the air in Manchester in 2018. He had previously worked as a preschool teacher years ago, but is currently unemployed. According to court paperwork, Gagne allegedly told the bail commissioner he was feeling suicidal.
Equally concerning, if not more so, is that he was found with pepper spray and duct tape. That's reflected in the affidavit.
The judge agreed with the state and ordered that Gagne be held without bail. Authorities say that this case is still very open and would like to hear from anyone who may have helpful information. Reporting live in Nashville, I'm Andy Hirschberger, WMUR News 9.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Williamson says campaign regrouping denies laying off entire staff, but Williamson, former campaign manager, reaffirms staff was let go as of December 31st. Gabbard says Trump has undermined U.S. interest in Iran strike. Democratic candidate says president doesn't know what he's doing. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9, Adam Sexton.
For months now, on the first-in-the-nation campaign trail, Tulsi Gabbard has been warning about a high-stakes foreign policy moment that could put American lives at risk. In a one-on-one interview in Hanover, the Hawaii Congresswoman condemned President Trump's airstrike against Iran's top general.
Trump has committed an act of war. He has pushed our country into a state of war with Iran, a war that will prove to be far more devastating and costly than anything that we saw with the war in Iraq. Or the war in Afghanistan. It'll make those wars look like a picnic.
Gabbard says the administration's argument that the world is safer without Soleimani misses something bigger.
There's no question that this was a really bad guy, but that's not really the point here. The point here is, what is the end goal? What is the strategy here? What mission are we trying to accomplish? And it's very clear that Trump's actions have undermined our national security interests.
Gabbard's more restrained foreign policy appears ready-made for this moment, as the Middle East once again becomes a top issue for New Hampshire voters.
I don't think anyone wants to go fight or, have another big war on our hands.
Gabbard is calling for the removal of U.S. troops from Iraq and Syria, but says it shouldn't be done on anyone else's terms.
What is happening right now is a very clear consequence of having a commander-in-chief who doesn't know what he's doing.
As Tom noted at the beginning of this story, there will be a vote in Congress this week to try and limit President Trump's war powers against Iran. Tulsi Gabbard says that's a move she's been calling for some time now. In studio, Adam Sexton, WMUR News
9. Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. U.S. stock market set to edge higher as Middle East fares reside. U.S. stock index futures were hovering around the flat line Tuesday morning despite ongoing geopolitical tension. Harvey Weinstein hit with new sexual assault charges. Let's take a listen to that video from ABC News.
Harvey Weinstein was in a New York courtroom today, and then he was hit with new sex assault charges in Los Angeles. 2 women there, the same hotel, one night right after the other. Here's ABC's Lindsay Davis.
Just hours after the former Hollywood heavyweight hobbled into this New York courthouse for the start of his sexual assault trial.
This trial is to show the jury, the state of New York, and the world that there's more to this than they would like everyone to believe.
Harvey Weinstein slapped with new charges today in Los Angeles.
The defendant used his power and influence to gain access to his victims and then committed violent crimes against them.
The DA accuses Weinstein of raping one woman in her LA hotel room, then the next night allegedly sexually assaulting another woman in a hotel suite.
Mr. Weinstein, sir?
All just days before appearing here on the 2013 Oscars red carpet with his pregnant wife. More than 80 women have accused Weinstein of sexual misconduct, but his current trial involves only 2 alleged victims, just outside in the shadow of the courthouse.
I join these other brave women who were also harmed by Harvey Weinstein to say we aren't going anywhere.
Several of Weinstein's other accusers vowing to not be silenced.
The trial means so much to so many, but it will mean the most to the brave women testifying and to all of us silence breakers.
Prosecutors plan to call 4 additional accusers to try to establish a pattern of behavior. In the meantime, Harvey Weinstein, he's entered a plea of not guilty. He maintains that any sexual relationships were consensual. David.
Lindsay Davis live in Manhattan tonight.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. And that does it for this morning edition of the Riley King Newscast, right here on the Riley King Network. I hope you all have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you back here later on today for another newscast. And I'll have the news report coming up in a little bit. Goodbye, everyone.